Are you ready to boost your bars at your home or office? Today we are looking at the Hiboost 4K Plus Pro cell phone booster. And you see this? It's also 5G compatible. Welcome back to another Jeff Reviews for you. And as you saw in this video, we are looking at a Hiboost cell phone booster for your home. This is really awesome, especially if you do not have a very good signal inside. Anyway, enough talk. Let's get right into this review. Our system is unboxed. Now let's talk through what we have. In the back over here, we have our exterior antenna. That will catch the signal from your cell phone carrier. Then we have a series of interior and exterior wiring. That wiring will take you right on over here to your signal booster itself. Of course, we have our power supply. From the booster, you will then take your internal cable and come on over to your internal antenna. And that's what will boost your cell phone signal. Do you want to tell the difference between your inside wire and your outside wire? This one right here that has these specialized clamps on both ends, that's actually the one that's going to go on the inside. It's the run that's 30 feet long. That's how you know it's the inside antenna. The other ones can be used for exterior use. Out here in the country, I've used my fair share of signal boosters, and this is by far the biggest one. I should say that utilizing the inside antenna, you're supposed to get 6,000 square feet of coverage. We already said it's 5G compatible. Also, this retails for right around $570. But get this, it is supposed to work with all US carriers. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go install our exterior antenna and wiring and get the party started. I wanted to show you the basics of the antenna before I put it up. You do need an external pole. If you don't have one, I will link one down below, the one that I purchased. It's just a pole mount that hooks to my house. What I'm gonna end up doing is I'm gonna utilize this piece, this mounting hardware, hook it to the back end of the antenna. I should say this is directional. One, you have to point it in the right direction. Also, there's a definite up versus a down, so pay attention to that. Once we have this hardware attached, we're gonna utilize these pole mount pieces and hook it right to our pole and tighten it in. Of course, we're gonna make sure this faces our local antenna and then run the wiring. This is the last time you'll see the exterior antenna before I install it. This is how I did the mechanism of the hardware. Now, this may not be what was right for you. This is just how I could figure it out for my installation. I do think maybe this wire will be in the way, but I'm gonna try to work around it. So, tell me, what are your thoughts of these signal boosters? Something you need? Not so much? Have you tried one? Let me know down in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. For my install, of course, you can see that I bought the little piece that goes on the siding as far as to make it look like a more finished install. I did buy the arm that the antenna hooks onto, and then of course I have my antenna hooked up, and then I really tried to hide the cabling as it came down that line, so I hid it really into the corner piece of the molding there on the siding. Once you have your antenna installed into place, there are a variety of apps that you can use to find your closest antenna. I will link the one that I'm using down below in the description, but once I find where my closest cell phone antenna is, I'm going to angle this exterior antenna that direction. Then I ran the wire just down the siding here. It's the lowest piece of siding, and every 2 feet I put a cable secure tie here. These are metal ones, that way I know they're not going to break, and plus they match the cabling. I think it looks like a nice finished look. Right here as it enters the house, I ended up purchasing these plastic bushings just to make it look nice on the outside. Plus I put a lot of silicone on the inside and the outside because I don't want this to be an area where water can get in or insects. This wire right here comes from the antenna outside. We've run it through to the interior. Now I have this little pack right here of the wire that I'm going to connect to it, and this piece right here will connect to the back end of our Hiboost internal booster. We'll show you that in just a second. What I'm going to do though is I'm actually going to take a little knife here. This is my Gear Infusion little pocket knife, and I'm going to cut this plastic off so I can tuck this wiring behind the TV here. We're also going to install the wire that goes from our interior antenna to this Hiboost booster as well. I'm not going to plug in the power supply just yet. I want to hang up my antenna and then we'll run some tests and then we'll plug it in. We have our interior antenna installed, but before we plug it in, I want to do a quick test to see what our signal looks like without any kind of booster. So I have a download test app open, so we're going to hit go. This is just running on my cellular network. As it's getting going, you know what? Typically, I don't even get as high as it's gone now, so maybe just a good day for cell phone reception here, but we'll see what it looks like at the end. It's just finished our download speed. You can see it written there, 7.97, which is actually a little higher than normal, but I'm okay with that. But check out the upload speed. It's almost nothing. Test has ended, and I had an ad over top of it at first, but check out those speeds there. What we're gonna do now is we're actually gonna toggle over to check out our signal strength on our SIM card. If you don't know how to do that, you go into your settings, you're gonna scroll all the way down to where it says About Phone, then where it says Status Information. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do SIM card status. If you go down to where it says signal strength, we're at negative 112 dBm. They say an average good signal is from 0 to 110. Clearly, we are over that. What we are gonna do now is we are actually gonna hook up the booster and run those same tests again. Let's officially plug it in. We're gonna let this thing boot up, and then we'll run that test again. We have let the booster get up and running, so what we're going to do now is we're going to cancel out the original test and we are going to run it again. Remember, we are just on the cell phone cellular network. You can already see from the beginning we have a fair amount higher speeds for download, not like what you would expect in a city or such, but it is much more impressive than without the booster. Now let's check the upload. You can see we still have lower speeds, a little higher than it was before, but slight improvement. We'll do a quick side-by-side so you can see before the booster and after the booster. Now let's go back there and check to see what our status information says. If we go down to our SIM card status, look at that, we're at 88. Before we're at negative 88. Before we were at negative 112, so you see there is a significant change in the signal with the booster as compared to without the booster. In this video, we are taking a look at the Hiboost 4K Plus Pro. So what do we think of it? Well, let's talk about that price point. It's just under $600, which is a bit of investment, but if you think now you have cell phone reception inside your house, it could be worth it. I do appreciate that you had the choice between a temporary install or a permanent install like I showed in this video. The temporary install, they had a little tiny connection piece that you actually put underneath your window, so when you close your window, you can still have the connection between inside and outside. That's actually quick and convenient for someone who wants to get this up and running pretty quick. As you can see, it actually worked. When I hooked up the exterior antenna to the booster and then the interior antenna, I had better cell phone reception after the booster was installed, and that's really the most important thing. I should say that these do not create cell phone signals. They actually capture the cell phone signal from the outside and bring it inside so that you can have reception inside where you may not have had it before. These are especially good for rural areas, but they do have city applications as well, especially if you're inside of a building that does not have very good cell phone reception. Anyway, that was my full review of the Hiboost 4K Plus Pro. If this is something that interests you, I will leave a link down in the description. This is Jeff with Jeff Reviews for You. As always, thanks for stopping by and hope you have a great day. I really do appreciate that you stayed around for my entire review for this signal booster. You know what though? This is not the first signal booster that I've reviewed. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put another one right up here, and I would love it if you would click on that link. And when you do, by the magic of the internet, I'm gonna join you right here. So go ahead, click it. It's safe, I promise.